So, in case you missed it, this one, Kingmakers, kind of came out of nowhere. They just announced it, and it is a little wacky. I'm just gonna let this play in case you haven't seen it, because it goes pretty crazy. Like, just when you think you figured out what the game is about, you're like, oh, okay. Ah, cool. You're gonna see something you don't expect to see, okay? Okay.
But I'll tell you, he built our village into a city.
Nice.
He's the one who trained our army, who grew us into an empire. I don't know where he's from.
Cool.
But if you think you can stop him, you're already dead.
What? What? Yeah. Have you ever wondered what driving a pickup through waves of medieval soldiers would be like? Or if having a shotgun or grenades would work? Well, that's this game.
Our people a future. I hope he can save his own.
Like what? Pretty insane. This is one of those games that's just like pure chaos. Like it doesn't need to make sense. It doesn't need to really walked away for 4 minutes. What on earth is going on? It doesn't need to have a lot of like explanation. It's just insane. So it's like maybe you start as a character in like a post-apocalyptic zombie world with the tilting skyscraper, reminds me of The Last of Us. And then you warp straight into a medieval battle and you start plowing through people. Like I've always wondered with these types of games, like, did this start as somebody's passion project where they're like, yeah, I want to make a medieval sim game where you can like command forces and it's thousands of guys charging onto castle grounds. And it's like, okay, I'll work on this. And he works on it for years. And then he's like, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know if this is going to pop off and be super successful. It's cool, but I don't know if it's going to be what I need it to be financially viable. And then somebody just in the office is like, what if we just like added guns and like grenade launchers and stuff, and we just let players fight in medieval battles with machine guns and stuff? Okay. And they did it, and it looks awesome. Like, it just looks outrageous. Now, I fully expect that this is a game that probably runs like crap unless you have a supercomputer, because I just have to imagine simulating all this stuff is a nightmare. It's got to be impossible to do on low-end hardware. Maybe they've worked some wizardry and they can get it working, but it's got to be so difficult to simulate all of this at once. Still, though, Apache helicopters, just swarms and swarms of people. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I hope maybe 2024 is just the year of wacky, outrageous games that are fun and not trying to take themselves that seriously. They're just outrageous. Because Helldivers kind of does that. This is kind of doing it. And you're seeing, even Pal World is basically doing that. You're seeing gamers are connecting with these games much more than the big quadruple A big releases, because they're usually offered at a lower price. They're just about fun, wacky, outrageous chaos. And I think that appeals to people much more than like another big corporate attempt at appealing to the masses. I think that this just fits much better with what people are looking for. And I mean, to me, it looks awesome. To me, it looks outrageous. What the gameplay loop is, who knows? It's probably just honestly like different environments and maybe outlines of battles. So it's like, okay, we're gonna have this big battle against this swarm of people. You can go in and fight alongside them. You're trying to defend the castle or take over the castle, whatever it may be. And you can also just fight it with machine guns and grenade launchers and stuff like that. Doesn't make that much sense. They could say you're a time traveler, and you know, maybe as you level up and go through different levels, you can get access to the Apache helicopters and stuff. But I think it's fun. I think it's just fun. Yeah, it doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah. AAA has only been offering monetization while indie games have been offering fun. Yeah, and I think that this game also probably did not cost an arm and a leg to produce. Like this is more a game about the dynamic systems present. Yeah, there's other simulation stuff here, like enemy invasion next turn. You can see there's crafting materials you need, citizens and population. So it suggests it's more of like a simulation game than anything, which is why I think it probably started as just an honest medieval simulator game that they eventually were like, hey, let's just add guns and helicopters to it. So I think it probably changed at some point. That's at least the vibe I'm getting. But like, this was probably much cheaper and easier to produce than Skull and Bones, certainly. But this is probably going to make way more money than that game, because it's just built around what's outrageous and fun. The decisions they made during development were what's going to be wacky and fun. And they decided to follow that vein all the way through. And that's what players want. They don't want a $200 million monstrosity. They don't care that you had 3,000 people working on it. They don't care. They just care about the game, the end product. It's why live service games especially are all about, and video games in general, I think, are mostly about whether the player has fun or not in the most bare bones way. Like, it either works for players or it doesn't. It either clicks with them or it doesn't. Either you have fun playing this game and you share it with your friends and you tell them to get on and you got to play it, it's super fun, or you don't. And with like Suicide Squad, either you have fun with it or you don't. And if you don't have fun with it, you're not telling your friends. You're probably telling your friends to stay away from it. You're probably encouraging them not to waste their time. Same with Skull and Bones or whatever else. But with Helldivers or with this, you try it and it's just fun and wacky. And so you share it with your friends. Add dinosaurs to it. Yeah, straight up. If they're doing like a time traveler thing, you probably could. Oh yeah, let's just add a Stegosaurus. You just spawn them in to help you fight. You know? Yeah, the year of why so serious games. Basically. But that's what players want. Players are just like, yeah, let's just have fun. Not everything has to be a super serious game with a battle pass and years of progression. And I think it's also just really frustrating for a lot of players for games to be built around trying to manipulate them into spending more time playing rather than just giving them a good game that's so fun they end up playing it for years. People don't like being manipulated, especially when they know full, like in full form, they know that they're being manipulated. And the developers are like very clear. Oh yeah, we're trying to find ways to encourage players to spend more time, which is just code for, yeah, we're trying to find ways to manipulate players into staying hooked on our game for longer. Players don't like that. They actively like resist it. Whereas if you just make a good game that's super fun, players will want to play it no matter what. So that's one of those wacky games I did not expect. I did not. When I saw it last night, I was like, oh my God. I came across it on Twitter and I was like, what? He took my thing.